This week in the PPL, your Cotswolds Whimsicots are going up against Jack, aka Mr. Bisto, aka the best tasting meat water in all the land, and his Vancouver Titangs. And you can see the 6 we're bringing on screen. I've just messaged him to say, can we start playing early? I'm ready to go, I'm itching for it. I can't wait to clash trunks with him. But he has said no, because the competition doesn't start for 12 minutes, so we literally cannot play early. Maths is hard. So I'm going to show you the team instead. We have Rambo, the Electivire. We made some trades. I think Frank will have had a video up on the PPL channel, maybe discussing our trade. So go check out the PPL channel, I think. Or is it on his channel? I don't know. I'll link something in the description so you can go check out the trades if you want. We have Rambo, the Electivire, making his debut with Terra Flying. This thing's a Life Orb set with some fun shit. Like, I've just decided the season's going badly. It's kind of what happened last season in the PPL, if you followed me there, where things were not going well. So I just thought, fuck it, like, let's just do some weird shit and see what happens. So we're trying out Terra Flying Electivire here. Maybe I'll flash the matchup on screen now. Maybe. Who knows? I might forget to do that. But yeah, it's for the Great Tusk and stuff. Like, it seems fun. Life Orb, just mixed offense. It seems good, right? I don't know. It seems fun to me. I'm giving Dog another chance. I know I said I was going to take the Dog out back and put a bullet in its head, but I really like dogs, so I decided not to. I decided to give it another chance, and I basically thought with my trades, fuck it, like, if the dog gets better when everything else dies, let's just get loads of shit that's happy to die, alright, that just punches holes and then dies. Like, instead of having that kind of, like, defensive core that we had before of, like, Skarm, Gastro, Moongus, where try and wear teams down patiently and then kill them with dog at the end, it's too long. It takes too long. I don't know. It wasn't working. So we just got shit like Rambo. He's literally Rambo. Like, he's just going to charge into the jungle. I've never seen Rambo. Who's he killing? Is he killing like Vietnamese people? Is Rambo an offensive film? I have no idea. I don't know. But if it is, then I'm sorry. But he's here. He's got blue tips, which is better than having blue balls, I guess. So there we are. Anyway, Dog, yeah, it's pretty standard. Roars on there if he tries to thunderclap with his giraffe rig. We'll just roar him out and have a great time. It'd be pretty funny. And if hazards are up, then like that will help us get some pressure. And speaking of hazards, here it is Stealth Rock on the Barney, the big purple dinosaur. Mixed set with knockoff Ice Beam Dragon Tail. Yeah, it's just standard Tyranitar. I love Tyranitar in every gen apart from this one. I feel like it is, maybe because I've drafted it on a sand team, but I feel like it's just dog shit this gen. So we'll hopefully with the trades it'll start to get better. Then we have Walla Walla Ting Tang, our Witch Doctor. But the nickname got cut off, and I refused to change it because Walla Walla Ting Tang is a great nickname for this Witch Doctor. And he told me what to do. He said, we're not going to do the whole song. No, concentrate. It's Triggering. It's Triggering Expo. It was weakness policy, but then last minute as I was genning, I was like, nothing's going to trigger the weakness policy, so cue that coming in to bite me later. Do you ever think about its eyes? Like, does it have eyes under the hat? Because those eyes are not peeping through holes on the helmet. Those eyes are the helmet's eyes. So, like, is it like some kind of, like, parasitic creature? And the Slowbro underneath is, like, in like, some kind of trance, some kind of stupor? I don't know. I haven't asked Game Freak. It's kind of, is that why he's, like, blue at the top? Because actually there's, like, no oxygen in that bit of his body because his brain's been taken over. Oh, we're getting into it now. It's the lore of Walla Walla Ting Tang. It's Trick Room Sweeper. I thought, fuck it, it'd be funny. It'd be funny if it works. Speaking of hazards, we have Cloister. Reminds me of my wedding night. I'm unmarried. Barbosa, because the Pirates of the Caribbean are underrated films. With Spikes, Sash Lee, Drill Run, Icicle Crash, Liquidation, Shell Armor so that we don't get crit. I just didn't need any other ability really. It's just here to get up a Spike or 2 and then die. I did one mock with Eric and he taunted me turn 1 with his Zarude and just really pissed me off, so hopefully Jack doesn't do that. Then, last up we got Netero, Mian Shao, which I say wrong. I don't think he watches anymore, but Andrew, who was pretty much like my first subscriber on YouTube, I'm pretty sure he used to correct me on how I said Mian Shao, and I still don't remember how you're supposed to say it. Mine Shao? Mean Shao? I mean, if it was German, it'd be Mean Shao, right? I don't think he's German. I don't know. Don't ask me. I jump kick because I've got massive nuts, knock off, ice spinner, U-turn. I could have ran close combat, but I wanted to put some bulk in it, and I wanted to make sure that a stab fighting move into knockoff killed Cobalion. So I decided to run high jump kick because then I could take some out of my attack and put it in HP. Now you might be thinking, well, that's fine as long as he doesn't have a ghost type. He does have a ghost type. So let's just hope that he doesn't bring it or that I don't get my predictions wrong. But sometimes you've got to put your nuts on the table and say, Jack, how big is your trunk? So here's the thing, right? I thought that I would leave it there and I'd just go into post-com. But while I was waiting for Jack, I was doing some thinking about Walla Walla Ting Tang. And it would make sense if it was like Galarian? Is this Galarian? Where is this thing from? Is this Galarian? Yeah, it's Gloking, right? Galarian Slowking. Yeah. If this thing... If it was like Galarian Shelder, right, was a poison type, and it bit the Slowbro on the slow poke on the head and turned it into this, then it would make sense that the helmet would be possessing the body, right? Because it would be the poison Shelder that poisoned the regular Slowpoke and turned it into this. But Galarian Slowpoke is the poison type. There is no Galarian Shelder. I'm assuming it's still a Shelder that clamps on. I haven't watched any anime or anything to confirm this, but I assume it's still a Shelder that clamps on, right? So the Shelder presumably has been poisoned in this scenario by the Slowpoke. So how has the Slowpoke become the host to the Shelder's consciousness? Do you see what I'm saying? How is the Shelder... It should be the other way around. Do you see what I mean? Like here it seems like the helmet is in charge and has possessed the body of the evolved Slowpoke. But why? Because the Shelder isn't the poison type. Was it always this way? Was Slowbro and Slowpoke always controlled? Sorry, was Slowbro and Slowking regular, like Cantonian and Jotonian, or wherever the hell Slowking came in? I think it's Johto. Were they always being controlled by the Cloyster or the Shelder? It just doesn't make sense to me. I just feel like it's all wrong. From a design perspective, I want to talk to whoever designed this. All right, here we are. I'm not doing any editing, so we're going straight into this. Let's do this. Is this going to work? I'm sure I've done some kind of intro. Hopefully I record an intro before the game, because I don't have time to record one tonight. So, also, I don't look like you can actually see me. Can you see me now? Is this better? There you go, you can see me now. Break at the fourth wall straight away. We are recording this. Who's we? There's not multiple of me. I wish there were. I could get more done that way. Actually, I'd just get more procrastinating done, let's be honest. But I am recording this at 10 o'clock of the night that you are probably watching it. Hopefully watching it, all going to plan. It's due today, and yeah, I haven't been able to do this until now. I sound nasally right now. I can hear myself. I think maybe I'm getting sick. That would just be the fucking cherry on the cake of this week. This week has been a bit rubbish. So we could talk about Pokemon, or I could just tell you about the week that I've had. Should we do that one? Yeah, let's do that one. We're playing as Jack, and I don't know if I did record an intro or if I said this. I wouldn't have known this in the intro, actually, because I didn't know this till I got into the game. But not only does he have a Raging Boner here, but he also has a Farigiraf, which I didn't see in prep. Like, I just fully... I'm not... I'll be honest, like, I'm not very, like, switched on and focused right now. Like I said, I had a hell of a week, whatever. But I just completely missed that he had Farigiraf, which, when you are building with Houndstone, noticing that the other person has a normal type, pretty fucking important. You'll see that does come into play, that I just fully didn't know he had a normal type. So, this is really annoying. What is going on? My headphones feel really annoying on my head. We don't have time to worry about this. Anyway, let me tell you about my week. Fuck Pokemon. Let me tell you about my week. As you can probably predict, this is not going to go excellently against the whole Farigiraf thing. So, this week, some of you will know, most of you might know, that I like my cars. Over the years, the last two cars I've owned, I think, are nice cars. I owned a 1988, I think it was 88, E-Reg 88, I think so. 1988 Toyota MR2 Mark 1, brilliant car, but I didn't have a garage to store it in. And Japanese cars from the 80s and 90s especially are famous for rusting very badly. I live in the southwest of England, which I think is like the second rainiest part of England after the northwest, which is where I used to live. So, not good. Like, and I loved that car. I loved that car so much, but I realized after about 18 months of owning it that I was destroying it. That having it outside, not in a garage, I was killing the car, and that hurt me too much, so I sold it. But I knew that if I went to anything sort of sensible, boring, whatever you want to say, straight from that, I'd be so disappointed. So I went and got another sort of dream car of mine. I got a Honda Civic Del Sol, which some of you will know. Most of you probably won't. This isn't a car video, but I'm just giving you some context. It's a little two-seater, 1998 this time, which is why I'm questioning if the other one was 88 or if I'm remembering that wrong. But anyway, 1998, two-seater Japanese sports car. I tried to take better care of it, but it did still rust a little bit. That's normal, you get some amount, but I took pretty good care of it. And it was going well. But basically, Katie and I are now getting to the point where I was supposed to have about 3 months left of my PhD. I've hopefully got about 9 months left. When I finish my PhD, I will be 31 years old, she will be approaching 30, and we'll probably be thinking about having children. And a two-seater sports car is not ideal for having children. So it was always in our mind that next year we would move, think about having children, whatever, and that we would probably get a new car. This is all context to how my week's gone, so just bear with me here. Katie's tried learning to drive before in a manual, and she's really struggled with it, so she's probably going to have to learn automatic. I was very against this to begin with as someone who loves cars and wants people to drive. Doesn't want people to drive, but I always want to drive manuals, so she wants to share it with me. I thought she'd need to do that. But then I found out that all electric cars are automatic anyway. Makes sense. Why would they have gears? They don't have engines. Duh. But once I found that out, I was like, well, I guess you don't really need to drive a manual anymore then, because in this day and age, it's probably going to be outdated. So I was like, all right, well, you can learn an auto, fine, whatever. So we were going to wait until we moved to do that. So it was always in our mind to get a family car down the line that would be automatic. Katie could learn to drive. We could put the children in it, more than 2 seats, blah, 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 blah. That's your lot. So now, this week, my Honda that I love, I really love this car. Maybe I'll put a picture. I won't put a picture of it on the screen because I haven't got time to do any edits, so I won't put a picture up. But, you can Google it. I love this car. This week, had to take it in for a service. Its MOT is due in November, so we've got a few months, and I was like, let me take it in for a preemptive service, get it all done, needs a service anyway. And there was a slight noise coming from one of the brakes, so I was like, let me get the brake checked out, and then we can sort of figure out what's going on there. And they took the brakes apart at this garage, did the service, took the brakes apart while I waited. And then when they put them back together again, they couldn't really put them back together again because they were quite badly corroded. But because it's a very old car, they didn't have the parts that they needed to do the work immediately. So they were like, okay, we can repair it, but not right now. And it's going to cost probably at least £1,000. Now, the car still needed a little bit of paintwork doing on it, where it's got scratched by some branches near here and had a bit of bodywork done in it, so it needed some paintwork doing that was probably £200, £300 easily, maybe more. So I'm thinking, right, so £1,000 plus to get these brakes repaired, £200, £300 to get the bodywork repaired. Then its MOT is still due in November. The exhaust sounds like it's got a small hole in it to me, which I think is going to get worse. And I think that's going to cause a problem with the emissions, depending on where the hole is. It's had that issue before, so I think it might have another one. So I was thinking, that's going to be more money. I know that these exhausts are really hard to get, and the last place I took it just sort of did a bodge job on it, but these guys are very thorough, and I know they're going to want to order a whole new exhaust part, and that's going to be really expensive. So we were looking at probably £1,500 to £2,000 to repair the car, right? This all happened on Wednesday. I took the car in on Wednesday, and we're like, it's £1,500 to £2,000 to fully repair the car. The car's probably only worth £2,000 to £3,000 tops, like tops. So I was like, oh, and we only really want it for like a year longer before we couldn't really run it anyway. And you could probably sell it for spares for like £1,000, maybe 800 quid, something like that, for someone else to break up and use the parts from. So I was like, financially, is it wise to spend £1,500 on a car that you only want for 6 months to a year, that you might then lose? You might not even make that money back when you come to sell it, right? You risk just losing that money completely. It's kind of just like a bad lease. So I was just like, I think now is the time that we just pull the trigger, we sell this car, get what value we can out of it, and we go for the family car. So Katie and I discussed it, and we looked at finance options and stuff, because if we want to get a car that's going to last us 5 to 10 years, electric, we've gone for, and all these things, the idea was, nowadays, you probably have to pay $5,000-ish to get a good, fuel-efficient family car, automatic, that will last a long time. Cars are expensive now. So I was like, well, at this point, we don't have $5,000 lying around. So it's like, we're probably going to have to do some sort of finance anyway. So do we do a more expensive thing that hopefully will last us a long time? So that's what we ended up deciding to do. But we went electric. My hope being that we won't pay... My old car was costing me like £200 a week in fuel. It was costing me a lot in petrol. 250 maybe in fuel a week. Not a week, sorry, a month. Like 50 quid, 60 quid a week in petrol. So yeah, like 200, 300 pounds a month in petrol. I was like, well, if that comes down massively because electric's hopefully cheaper to run, that would help. Fuel, tax costs like 400 odd pounds a year. So what's that, like say 35 pounds a month, something like that. Get rid of that cost. Then you can see how well this game is going, by the way, about as well as my week. So all these things like added up, and I was like, but if you get an electric car, you got no tax to pay, no like ultra low emission zone charges, no all this shit, right? So I'm like, all the savings we hopefully make will help us pay for the monthly finance on this car. So hopefully at the end of each month, we won't actually work out any worse off than we were. But now we have a 3-year-old electric automatic family car versus having a 25-year-old, 26-year-old, whatever it is, 2-seater Japanese rock box. So that was the idea. But the bit that I haven't told you is that when the garage gave me back my Honda after taking it apart, finding out that the brakes wouldn't really go back together and giving it back to me, is they didn't give me like a loan car that I could borrow while the issue waited to be resolved, and they were like, it's going to take us weeks to get the new brakes and stuff. They just gave me back the Honda and didn't tell me that the brakes were not great. So on the drive home, I found out the hard way when I had to basically like engine brake, for those of you that drive in America and stuff that primarily drive automatics, or people here that drive automatics, people that don't drive. Engine braking is where you change down gear manually so that it causes the car to brake. I don't know the full science of it, but basically in a lower gear it will stop the engine, revolving, RPM, all that stuff. You get the idea. I'm not a tech. I'm not a mechanic, so I don't know the ins and outs of it. But essentially, yeah, by lowering the gear, you force the car to slow down incrementally. And it's not a bad practice to know and understand engine braking and to do it anyway sometimes. But that's basically all I could do because the brakes were shot. I had a handbrake, but any of you that's ever done a handbrake turn knows that handbrakes, at certain speeds, you don't really want to be using them. Like, it's fine, like, say I'm coming down a hill in a town at 10 miles an hour, sure, I can use the handbrake to stop myself, I'll be okay. I don't want to be braking into a bend at 60 miles an hour and handbrake turning it, because I'm going to end up in a fucking hedge if I'm not careful. So, not great, again, sort of like trying to kill a Farigiraf with no moves that can touch it. Because you didn't know he had a normal type. Yeah. Anyway, so that was like... So I had to drive that like an hour and a half home with essentially no brakes. Got home, and then the car that we managed to buy, there was one car that we really wanted. We've got a Volkswagen ID3. Some of you will know what that is. Most of you probably won't. But anyway, that's what we've gone for. There was one 10 miles away. So I was like, oh, I can get on a bus, and then I can get on a short train, and I can get there. No problem. Sold. The second we went on to buy it, someone else had reserved it. So we were like, fuck. So we found another one. This was on the Thursday. This was the day after. We had to do this quick because this weekend I had to get to football in Bristol, which is not, that's like an hour and a bit's drive from me. I was at football training on Thursday night in Bristol where I had organised it all. I had to be there. Most of you will know I'm the manager of the team and stuff, so I have to be there to run the session. And on Sunday we'd planned to go meet my daughter Addison and her partner in London. So it was like, we had so much planned this week that being without a car as well was fucking us. So we had to like snap decision this. So on the Wednesday, I had to drive an hour and a half home in a car with no brakes down treacherous country roads, fucking shitting myself. And then on the Thursday, I had to drive it another hour and a half to go fetch a new car that would work if I got there without dying. Got there. Got the car, wicked. Never driven an electric car before. They made it out like it was going to be a really big deal. I did not find it that big of a deal at all, to be honest. Like, the guys in the garage were just, like, warning me, like, this is going to be really bad, and that's going to be really bad, and, like, it wasn't. It was fine. They made out like it was a totally different driving experience. I didn't find it to be that at all. But anyway, that's really good. But now my Honda, as you've probably guessed, is where we bought the new car from. And like I said, I just thought the best thing we can do is sell it for spares, repairs, get it gone. But my mum, so the bit of backstory about me, my granddad on my mum's side was a scrap dealer. He ran a scrapyard, broke cars apart, sold the bits off. So, and a lot of my family are mechanics or scrap people or whatever. So up in the Midlands, 3 hours from where I live now, I have people that can work on cars for a lot less. But I'm not there. And I didn't want to drive the car there. So my mum was like, I'll buy the car off you because I don't want you to sell this lovely ar for the cheap, for it to be broken up and ruined. She's like, I think there's money to be made from this car. I think that you're being hasty because the situation you're in and you're upset and you're angry. And I'm like, yeah, all these things are probably true. I took my car to have it repaired and it was given back broken with a £1,000 bill attached to it. They broke my car and charged me for the privilege. I didn't pay the £1,000 to have it broken. I paid £200 to have it broken. And then was told I can pay another over £1,000 to have it fixed after they charged me to break it. So as you can probably tell by my tone of voice and what I'm saying, I was angry and I was sick of it and I did want to see the back of it. So Mum's like, I'll buy it off you. I'm like, sweet. She's like, I'll drive it up to Midlands. And I'm like, no, you've never driven this car ever. And now it's got no brakes. I really don't want you driving it. And she's like, well, we could try and get a trailer. I don't think we've got a trailer. I don't know what we can do. So, for my sins, I've agreed to drive it 3 hours tomorrow up the Midlands. So, today, I drove to London and back to see Addison. Lovely, really, really nice. Meet her partner, lovely, such a nice time. But tomorrow, I've got to be up at like 7 a.m. to drive to my nearest train station, to hop on 3 connecting trains and then a bus to get to where I bought the car from, because it's not easy to get there, to get back in my old Honda, to then drive it 3 hours to where I grew up, give it to my mum, to then catch a bunch more trains all the way back here to then drive from my nearest train station back home tomorrow. So I'm going to be on the go from I'm probably going to leave my house at like 7:30 in the morning and not get back till, I don't know, maybe 9 o'clock at night tomorrow. So it's going to be a really long day driving a car, no brakes. I mean, luckily, for those of you that might be concerned, I can drive it. It's not great. If someone brakes in front of me, it's not going to be good. But what I can do is I found a way that I can get there pretty much motorway the whole way. So I'm just going to sit on the inside lane. I'm going to leave a huge gap from the car in front of me so that I have enough time to just engine brake if I need to. There are some brakes, like it does do a little bit. It's very squirrely. I'm hoping it doesn't rain tomorrow. And I can figure it out. I'll be fine. It's just motorways. It's just a blast. I'm just going to sit, cruising, slow, whatever. But it is going to be mentally draining. Here I'm celebrating not getting 6-0'd, by the way. That's the level my week's been at, that we're cheering Jack not 6-0ing us because he took pity here. He could definitely have 6-0'd us, I think, if he wanted to. But Jack's a nice guy, so he didn't. Like, he could have gone into this on a flamethrower, right? And like he would have been absolutely fine. So thank you, Jack, for showing mercy on me in my time of need. So that's what I'm doing, and I'm so tired. But I knew I had to get this up, and I wanted to be respectful to Jack. And because this was such a smashing from Jack, because he did raging boner me so thoroughly, I was like, I can't wait to post this late. Like, normally I might just be like, all right, do you mind if I post this on like Tuesday or something? Because like I said, look at the little puff of the cheeks. That's a man suffering below me. You are suffering, aren't you? Anyway. Yeah, so Big Trunk Gaming, exactly. I took Jack's Big Trunk, and I took it like a champion, I like to think. Anyway, I didn't want to delay this till Tuesday because I didn't want to come off as salty or anything else like that. Like, I love Jack to bits, and yeah, there's absolutely no salt here. I was just so fucking tired. Like, my week has just been driving at an absolute death trap around, and then doing it again tomorrow for even longer is not ideal. And you know the worst bit of the day, not the worst bit, but I've got really hooked on golf recently. Like, I really want to start playing more golf. I'm watching a lot of golf on YouTube. I'm just really, I don't know, it's become my new, hyper focus. And that morning when I was taking my car in for a service, I was like, I've got, an hour where a window. I'm going to squeeze in, they've got a little short par 3 course near us. So I'm going to squeeze in a quick round on there, quick 9 holes on there, because I really want to get better at golf. I'm very bad, but I was like, I really want to get better. So I went there and I was having this lovely morning, just playing 9 holes, and I was like, oh, today's going to be a good day. And then someone charged me £200 to break my fucking car. It wasn't a good day. It was a really bad day. So, yeah, anyway. Hopefully this week I can play another round of golf or something to cheer myself up after tomorrow's over and done with. Wish me luck in the comment section. Wish me luck if you made it this far in the video. Say good luck on your drive. All right. I wanted to say my old outro. I wanted to say thank you so much for loafing around with me. Fuck it, let's do it. Why not? I haven't done it since I rebranded. Thank you so much for loafing around with me, and I'll catch you again next time. I don't think I explained very well. I don't think I explained very well. The part of the reason I'm upset is because I really loved my old car, and I really love having proper petrol, manual, classic Japanese sports cars that I love, and now I don't have one. Now I have a bloody hippie, vegan, fucking electric thing. Oh, it's a good car though, but yeah, I'm a little bit upset. I don't think I expressed it very well. I'm angry about what happened with the Honda, but I'm also heartbroken because I fucking loved that thing.